forms. For example, the day of your interview, you may need to fill out the name change form, even if you don't plan to change your name. Number 2, the writing test that most people are aware of is the dictation. The officer will ask you to write one simple sentence dictated in English. The sentences may use vocabulary up to the 10th grade level. My sister goes to school.
My sister goes to school.
If you make mistakes, the officer may dictate other sentences to you.
My shirt is white. Okay, one more time. My shirt is white. Okay. I can speak English.
When you're getting ready for the writing test, practice with several people. Have different people dictate to you.
I drive to work every day.
I drive to work every day.
I drive to work every day. I drive to work every day.
I drive to work every day. Now let's look at U.S. history and government. The INS officer may ask you any number of questions based on the INS series of U.S. history and government, which you can buy at any federal government bookstore. However, the chances are fairly good that you'll only be asked questions from the official INS list of 100 questions. You don't need to answer 100% of the questions perfectly, but make sure you're well prepared to take the test. How was the test given? Number 1. The INS officer may hand you a list of 10 to 12 questions from the 100 questions and ask you to read them, then answer them. Or, the INS officer may give you a list of all 100 questions and tell you to keep reading and answering them until you're told to stop.
Read?
Read.
Read. Why do we celebrate on the 4th of July?
What? What's the answer?
Answer?
Yes.
Yeah, Independence Day.
Yes.
Next,
Yes.
what country did we fight during the Revolutionary War? England. Who was the first president of the United States? George Washington. What are the 3 branches of our government? Legislative branch, executive branch, judicial branch. Who makes the laws in the United States? The Congress. What is the capital of your state? It's Sacramento. Who is the current governor of your state?
If you don't know an answer, the INS officer will not correct you. You need to simply go on to the next question. When you're finished with all the questions, the officer will give you the answers for any you missed.
The branch of the government in the United States is 3. The name is legislative, executive, and judicial. How much the land whom the laws in the United States, the Congress. Can you name the two United States senators from your state? Yes, Pete Will? No. The senator, I don't remember the name. What is the capital in the United States? Yes, the California. No, Sacramento.
Number 2. The INS officer may ask you the questions orally.
What are the colors of our flag?
The colors, this white. Okay, there's a white,
Mm-hmm.
blue. There's a red in white, and the blue.
Now let's look at good moral character. The INS doesn't list the specific qualities of good moral character, but only says that good moral character will be defined by the standards of average citizens of the community in which the applicant resides. You have to prove that you've had good moral character for the 5 years before you apply for citizenship, or for 3 years if your basis for eligibility is being married to a U.S. citizen. The INS may also examine what your moral character has been over your entire lifetime. The INS does have a list of issues that show you don't have good moral character. These are issues like not filing your taxes, or not supporting your child, not signing up with selective service, or committing a crime. In some cases, you can reform. In other words, you can fix the problem. But in other cases, if your problem is more serious, like being convicted of drug dealing or being convicted of committing a crime with a gun, the INS will deny your citizenship and you may be subject to deportation. When examining moral character, the INS also considers what are known as crimes of moral turpitude. A crime involving moral turpitude is a crime that society believes is wrong, whether or not there's a law against it. In other words, the crime goes against the moral fiber of the society. For example, there's a law against murder, but even if there weren't, we would still believe murdering someone is wrong. Other crimes like petty theft, lying under oath during your INS interview, and prostitution are also considered crimes of moral turpitude. On the other hand, some, like juvenile delinquency, are not. There are strict rules about crimes involving moral turpitude. What's more, there are many degrees of breaking the law between not paying $100 in income taxes and murder. That's why it's critical, if you've had any problems in the past or have problems now, to talk to a legal worker with a community agency or an attorney. Questions throughout the N400 help the INS officer determine whether or not you have good moral character. Part 7 is especially important. The INS says that many applicants fail their interview because they don't understand the vocabulary or can't talk about the items in Part 7. Even if the question only requires a no answer, it must be clear that you understand the question and that you're telling the truth. Let's look at some sample questions from the N400 Part 7.
Have you ever helped the Communist Party? The Communists? No?
No.
Have you ever discriminated against anyone because of race, religion, national origin, or political opinion?
No.
No. Do you know what discriminate means?
Yes.
What does that mean?
When, if, for example, the other people that are color and I say I'm white, you're black, and
Okay.
that's.
Have you ever failed to comply with selective service laws?
Not really, because when I submitted an application for selected service, but I was already old.
Okay, you were over 26.
Over 26, exactly.
Have you always filed income taxes?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Have you ever been deported?
Never.
Have you ever been a habitual drunkard?
No,
Practiced polygamy?
no,
Been a prostitute or procured anyone for prostitution?
no,
Have you ever knowingly and for gain helped any alien to enter the U.S. illegally?
no,
Okay. Do you know what that means?
no.
Okay. Have you ever helped anyone get across the border illegally?
Oh, no,
Have you ever dealt drugs?
no,
Um, Have you ever lied to get any immigration benefit?
Oh, no.
Have you ever been hospitalized for mental incompetence?
No, never.
Have you ever been arrested? Have the police ever put handcuffs
Ah,
on you?
no, no, nothing.
Finally, let's look at attachment to the Constitution. Attachment to the Constitution means that you study the U.S. Constitution and believe in it in such a way that you will actively support and defend it. It really means you'll be loyal to the United States. You need to be willing to defend the Constitution, obey the laws of the United States, accept the representative form of government established by the Constitution, and understand how we make changes in the United States, in particular by voting. To find out if you understand and agree to everything on this list, the INS officer will ask you the questions in Part 8 of the N400.
Do you believe in the U.S. Constitution?
Yes, I do.
And what is the U.S. Constitution?
It's the supreme law or the higher law of the country.
Okay. And do you believe in our form of government?
Yes, yes, I do.
What kind of government do we have?
Republican democratic government.
Okay, what does that mean?
This means that it's the power of the people, for the people, by the people.
Are you willing to take the oath of allegiance? The oath of allegiance.
Yes.
Okay, and when you take an oath, what is an oath?
Oath.
Oath.
Swear.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's it. It's
yeah,
you're swearing.
yeah.
And when you swear allegiance, what are you doing?
Yeah, allegiance. Yeah. I promise Allah, yeah, to help United States.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Would you be willing to bear arms on behalf of the United States if required by law?
Yes,
Okay, what does that mean, bear arms?
to carrying gang or children and other people.
Now it's your turn to decide whether or not some applicants would pass. If you haven't copied down the criteria yet, put the video on pause and take a moment to do it now. In order to pass the entire interview, you need to pass in all the criteria. If you fail in any one of them, you fail your interview. However, if you fail in English or U.S. history or government, you'll be given a second chance within 4 months, and you'll only be retested on the area in which you failed. Let's look at one applicant. Her name is Harakwe. Try to judge her from the INS officer's point of view. While you're watching, decide if you would pass or fail her according to each criterion. Understanding and speaking.
Do you live with your parents?
My sister.
You live with your sister?
Yeah, no.
Okay, and you're a student?
Yeah, students.
Are you married?
No, yeah. No. Next year.
Next year, maybe?
Yeah.
Huh?
Reading.
I trying to work every day. My car is grabbed.
Okay.
I will. Oh, moment.
Writing.
I have a new car.
U.S. history and government.
Former Vice President?
George Bush.
What are the, do you know what colors our flag is? What are the colors of our flag?
Flag.
Our flag, the American flag.
Oh. Red. Blue. White.
Yes. And what are the 3 branches of our government?
50.
There's 50 states?
Yeah.
And what are the 3 branches of our government? Do you know what those are? Okay, that's okay.
good moral character.
Have you ever helped the Communist Party?
No.
Have you ever been deported?
No.
Do you know what deported means?
No. Understand. Okay.
Okay. Has the government asked you to leave?
Mm-hmm.
To say, leave United States?
No.
Attachment to the Constitution.
Are you willing to bear arms on behalf of the United States? Are you willing to go to war for the United States?
Me?
Okay, would you carry a gun for the United States?
Oh, no.
Okay. Okay. So you wouldn't shoot a gun?
No.
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 Would you be in the military? Do you know what the military is?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Now turn off the video and decide if you would pass Harakwe according to each criterion. And if not, why not? Once you've decided, restart the video.